Hi, welcome to Group Insights for the Soul. This is such a special space that my co-host Lori and I have created for two or three people to come on at a time. And you can ask a question, you can provide a situation that maybe you just want a little more insight into, or we can even pull an angel card. And Lori and I spend a lot of time tapping into how we hear God, that benevolent love, power, source, universe, and we share those insights. The cool thing about doing it in a group, today we have three, Lori, me, and our willing participant. And when we do energy work as a group, nothing is wasted. So a question that is asked or a situation that comes up or insight that is being provided, there's a message in it for each and every one of us. So whether you're on the call today or you're listening a year from now, if you are hearing it, then there is a message in it for you. And what I encourage is simply to settle in to how the words are feeling within your body. We all hear God differently. So it's not just the physical through the ear holes and the vocabulary words I'm using, but really feel what that message, how he's speaking to you right now, and what that message is for you. I'm Bridget. I am an energy bodywork specialist, and this is what I love to do, talk about um, how I hear um, intuition, what that means, and share it with others in a group dynamic like this. And Lori, I will let you introduce yourself.
So I love days like today because this is just a small section of what Bridge and I do. We actually are a part of a larger container called Empowered Abundance. And we are students of a philosophy called MFree. And what I love most about MFree is it's all about tapping into our truest identity. And so often for us, because we live in America, because we're women, because most of the people we attract are entrepreneurs, because we're seeking to please God or get it right or do these things. We have all this pressure and we're in bondage to that. And I love days like today where I'm running errands, I'm doing some things for my mom, and I get home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be on a call. And I jump in the shower and my stuff isn't set up and I get to show up because, guys, guess what? My background isn't really what matters. If my hair is done, it's not really what matters. It's how does God want to speak to us and how does he want to give us that next step and layer of freedom? And that is our greatest hope is as we come on these calls and share the insight that we're getting with whoever happens to be on the call, we hope that it creates freedom inside your body so much that the truth that you heard, the wisdom that you heard is undeniable. And so, yeah, I love how it all flows together and how we just get to show up and be authentically us. So I say, let's get started.
Let's get started. Yes.
All right. So, Jen, do you have a question? Do you have a situation you want us to tap into? Or we can also pull a card for you. Or you can just say, what do I need to know?
Well, actually, this week has been an absolute train wreck. I don't know if you've heard me tell Bridget, we just got notified by United Health. I'm going to start crying. You guys have already made me cry starting on this, but United Healthcare is not paying commissions for new business. The whole Medicare marketplace is changing significantly, and I can't talk about it till October 1st, but things aren't looking good, and it doesn't seem stable as a career at this time. So just yesterday, I started looking at jobs and it absolutely terrifies me. I feel like I failed at starting my business a couple of years ago. So I'm really kind of a mess right now. So anything would help. Like I don't know even what to do. I nursed Now, Medicare, I don't even know what I'm qualified for,
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. So I
Okay.
don't even know my question, or I guess just any support and love you can throw my way would be helpful.
Yeah. Bridget, I'm ready unless you are.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. So the very first thing that came up, and I wish I had a nickel for every time I said, I know this is a total cliche. However, it is true. And what if this is an invitation into something greater? Because at our deepest identity, we are made in the image of God, which is creator. And in this moment, you have opportunity to choose your focus. You can choose the focus that something went wrong, something is bad. Now, I'm not saying that the choice is easy, sister. Our nervous system is uh, got a lot of hold on us. So I'm not saying that this is an easy choice. What I'm saying is it is a choice. We
Mhm.
can either focus, because as the creator, the seeds that I sow today will reap the fruit for tomorrow. So you can choose that something went wrong. You can choose that this is a bad thing. Or you can go, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how this is good. I don't know how this is going to turn out. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't seem good. It doesn't, like, you get to be 100% honest about the experience you're having in this moment. This is fucked up. I feel like God turned his back on me. I've been trying so hard. And now what the fuck? You are allowed to say all those words as long as the end of the sentence is, and I'm willing to trust that something is coming out of this greater than I could have ever thought or imagined. And that takes practice, right? It does take
Mhm.
practice. But the thing that keeps coming up is you get to strengthen your faith muscles. You get to strengthen your choice, your ability to choose muscles. This really, and again, no, it doesn't seem like it. 1000 gazillion percent, it doesn't seem like this is a beautiful opportunity. However, the truth is the truth, regardless of what we think or feel.
Mhm.
And if we believe that the universe is benevolent, that God is good, that the universe desires our best, then that really is the only end conclusion we can come up with. But I just want to reassure you, it doesn't make this moment easy at
Mhm.
all. Not even a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I'm trying, but like you said, my faith is being tested, and it's
Yeah,
difficult. Mhm.
it is. And here's the thing, it's not going to be oh, I'm going to choose and now I'm going to sail. This is a moment by moment, over and over. You might have to choose 60 times in 1 minute, right? You might go, no, this is good. No, how could this be good? Nope, I'm going to trust this is good. Ah, this is stupid. Nope, I'm going to trust that this is good. This is fucked up. No, I'm going to trust this is good. Everything about this is stupid. No, I'm going to trust this is good, right? You might have to do it 60 times in a minute. It's what are you going to choose moment by moment is really more the what's being offered to you, more than, oh, I have faith, or no, I don't have faith. Oh, I believe, or I don't believe, right? It's that what's the verse in the Bible when somebody's talking to Jesus or whatever and he says, oh, I believe, but help my unbelief, right? All at one time we can believe and not believe, and all of
That's
that is
true.
okay. It's what do we do moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, not all or nothing. Because if we focus on I either have to believe this is good or I don't, we've already lost. It's I'm going to choose in this moment, and then the next, and then the next, and whenever I need to do it again. So you haven't done anything wrong if in the very next second you don't believe again or you doubt again, right? And I
And
think
that's
that's
where
one
I'm
of the
at. Yeah.
hardest things that we don't really understand when we're looking at either we have faith or we don't.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's how I see it. But I'm like, exactly like you said, I'm waffling back and forth, and then I get angry that I'm waffling, which just makes everything worse. You know what I mean? Like, can't believe this happened, poor me, to this is an opportunity to it sucks. And just I think the whole not knowing and everything is for me all or nothing. And it's, so I think you're
Yeah.
spot on. It's just tough to do.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah. I feel like, Jen, if you've ever sat like in a lake or an ocean and have kind of like just sat amongst the waves as it keeps coming and keeps coming, and that's the feeling that you are at, like you even said it, like one moment the emotion is okay, everything's gonna, like I'm just changing, and then the next moment is overwhelm. It's like this is
Right.
hard, and then the very next moment it is right now is not just a solid line. It is a constant movement, um and I keep feeling like it, this is this is hard and this is tough, but allowing yourself to have each of those wave moments, to allow yourself, even if it's, like I woke up this morning and I was all gung ho because now I have to do certain things in order to move me to the next step. But halfway through it, I got discouraged and now I just want to sit on the bed
Mm-hmm.
and cry. And then I get mad at myself for crying. So I get back on the uh, on my to-do list and do that. And what I keep getting is give yourself permission to feel both with healthy tools available. So if you have to record something, yourself saying to yourself, this too shall pass. That's something that I wrote down. This too shall pass. This is a season. This is not a forever. This too shall pass. There's just like those waves, the hard one waves right into a good feeling, which waves right back into a hard feeling. Like this wave will pass. Even if it's moment by moment, it will pass. But if you need to record yourself telling yourself this too will pass, or find a motivational speaker that you like, and those moments that you feel like you need to cry, allow yourself to cry. In order to get yourself back out of that, have something healthy and positive to help encourage you along the way. You don't have to do this alone. You are not alone in any of this. And sometimes it might feel very alone. And that's when you said, like, then you get mad at yourself or upset with yourself for poor me. Poor me is a real thing. And then have a tool to help you bring that back. It doesn't have to be you. The hurt you who's being mad at myself doesn't have to be the me that pulls me out of it. It can be the me that I recorded earlier that's pulling me out of it.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love what Bridget said about having permission to be in both, because that actually came up in me as well. And so we think we're doing something wrong if we can't like choose and stay there, right?
Mm-hmm.
For realsies, give yourself permission to be a shit show, to be a mess.
I am nailing it.
Okay, good. And the difference though, and this is the difference between moving through it quicker and easier and suffering. Okay? Here's the difference. I'm a shit show. I can't believe I'm. Now, I'm not saying you're doing this. This is a collective understanding of just how we function, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm a shit show. I can't believe I'm a shit show. This is so horrible. And my life is a shit show. Or stepping into your power and going, you know what? Right now, my human it's a shit show. And I'm allowed to be a shit show sometimes. And you know what? I don't feel good and I don't feel positive and I don't feel great. And I'm going to let myself just be a shit show, right? There's a difference in the energy. Is it disempowered or empowered? Right. And
Mm-hmm.
this is, again, sometimes you're going to be in that disempowered. Be aware of it and go, oh my gosh, that's so cool that I just realized that I was in that disempowered energy, and then choose to focus to say exactly the same words, but from that choice empowered you.
Yeah. I mean, I've been here before and it's always worked out, never the way I thought, but it always has. So I have that
Yeah.
thought, yet I'm like, I'm exhausted. I just don't, I didn't want to have to do this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, like, we think our internal, emotional, spiritual, psychological is different than our physical. Can you imagine somebody going to the gym and being all like bummed out and going, I didn't think I was going to have to do this again? What you mean, go work out? Like, wait, you thought you were going to have to do it again? You thought you were going to work out one time and then you were going to have the body and you, right? And we genuinely, and girl, like, me too, like me too. Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is my greatest, like, the thorn in my side is that I think I'm going to arrive somewhere emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and I do, and then something comes back and I'm like, fuck, I'm here again. And then
Oh,
when I step back though and I compare it, that the psychological, spiritual, the unseen is functions exactly like the seen in the physical. And would I even remotely be saying the same things if I was talking about my physical strength or my physical muscles? Or I absolutely would not. That would be ludicrous, right?
hmm, right.
So if we can take that and go, oh, this is like going to the gym. And I do want to be stronger in my emotions. I do want to be stronger in my spiritual walk. I do want to be stronger in my mental capacity to navigate life. Of course, I want to be stronger. Oh, I'm at the gym. I'm at the gym. So am I going to choose to pick up those weights and practice? Or am I going to feel like something's gone wrong and leave the gym? Right.
Right. That's a good analogy. The hardest part is getting there. Once you get there, you can go. And
Yeah, girl. And guess what? Here you are. You're at the gym. So
yeah.
cool. Celebrate that you showed up. Celebrate that you're strong enough to go through this again. Celebrate that this is just a opportunity is what's coming up, an opportunity to get stronger. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do keep getting this hit. There's a magic, and you just said yourself, you've been through this before. There is a magic of you recording a video of yourself telling yourself, Jen
Mm.
girl, you've been here before, and it worked out better than you could have imagined. That was something similar to the words that you actually used, whatever those words were. And in those moments, then where you're like, shit, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I can't do this anymore. When you're in that 100th rep and you're sweating profusely, that's when you hit play on that. It's your voice that person in that moment, that you in that moment needs to hear it from you because you've been here before, you know what to do.
Hmm.
I love that so much. That is an amazing, beautiful, powerful tool, Bridget.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that. Probably should.
Yeah. What a great opportunity to learn something new, right?
Oh, yes. I think I'm going to be open to learning a lot of new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Well, Bridgit, so that Jen gets the beauty of other people's downloads and inputs. Do you want to pull a card?
Sure.
I will pull a card for you, and then you can pull a card for me.
Perfect.
I mean, I can still pull it over here if you don't have them ready. I just mean like, So Jen, make sure that you tap into whatever comes up for Bridgit and whatever comes up for me, because that's additional encouragement for this exact situation. So Bridgit, do you want deck 1, 2, or 3?
Ooh, one.
Oh, it's very assertive, Bridgit.
Yes.
She knew that right away, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, there is a card right side up in the middle of the deck. So I think that's yours.
Oh,
Perfect.
Let's see what it says.
Aw.
And it says, you've got the power. Use your abilities to resolve this situation. You can do it. And what comes up, what came up for Jen first is, what abilities you already have that you can tap into that's going to help you move through this situation. Now, for Bridgit, let me tap in because it was very like obvious. Like, this is why we do it in a group, because I pulled this card for Bridgit. However, spot on for you as well, right? And for me, like, how does this apply for me as well? But Bridgit, give me just a second. Let me tap in because I feel like there is a specific circumstance or situation that is, yeah, it feels like it's something in your business. And whatever that is, like, again, just like I said to Jen, is what abilities you already have. What do you already have as a resource, right? I love coaching coaches, because one of the things that a lot of coaches say is, well, I can't afford to invest. I can't afford to blah, blah. Well, then go make free videos on YouTube. Well, I can't afford to learn. Who cares? Just make the videos. Like, you speaking, you doing this, like, we have so many resources that we can use, that we're not using, right? And when we look at the parable of the talents, which is one of my absolute most, like, I think it's in the top 1 of parables that are my favorite, because it's so defining in what keeps us stuck, right? There's 2 servants that use what they have to create more. And there's one servant that buries what he has and then still has what he had, but didn't create more. But then what does the master say? Like, well done, good and faithful servant. You used what you had to create more, to generate, but you didn't. Like, you just buried it. You could have just at least done the bare minimum and put it in the bank, and it still would have made something, but you didn't do anything. You buried it. And we have so many resources around us. Prayer is a resource, right? Our focus is a resource. We have abilities that we do not tap into. Quiet, meditation. You can listen to a gazillion free meditations to get quiet, right? And this is not specific for Bridgit, what you need to be doing. I'm just using this as an example of, there are so many resources that we have that we can utilize that we overlook, right? So now when we pull it back to us personally, what are those abilities that are your greatest gifts, right? But guys, me too. Like, so I'm not saying, oh, I'm not pointing the finger, me too. What do we take for granted as an ability that we have, because it comes so naturally to us? We're like, that's not a big deal. Nobody cares about that. Like, however, if we stop and we tap in and we go, okay, God, what are the abilities that I have right now that I'm not using that would propel me to the very thing to exercise my power? What power is already inside of you that you're not tapping into, that will create greater ease and generative energy in whatever it is that's going on in your business. You don't have to look outside of yourself. We don't have to look outside of ourselves. We tap in and we go, what do I already have that I'm not using? What do I already have that I'm not using? And guys, we might have to ask that question 10 times. Okay, Lord, what do I have that I'm not using? What gifts have you already given me that I haven't tapped into yet? Okay, cool.
I like
And
that.
yeah, and just the act of doing that is really where you're going to start tapping into your power. Who cares what the answer is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Bridgit, did you want to respond to any of that? You don't have to, just like we tell everyone else. You don't have
Yeah.
to respond to any of that, but
That did just open some stuff on our home repair business that we're kind of shifting through, and it just opened up, oh, like how I can be a piece of that change
love it.
came very much more clear. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, Bridgit, I'll mix up the order of the decks and I'll let you choose which deck I'm going to pull from for my card.
Okay. Number 3.
This is my new deck that I got, and it's so little, you guys. The words are so little. I can barely even read them. Okay. But I'm gonna read them. Might take me a minute.
Right.
Even with my glasses on, I'm like, holy cow, that's little. Okay. Here's my card.
Pretty.
And it says, ask for your needs to be met. God and the angels can come to your aid only if you make a free will choice to be helped. And it begins with asking. It doesn't matter how you ask God for help, but only that you do so. The same holds true with clearly asking other people to assist you. Do you want me to send that to you, Bridgit, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Let me just write down a couple of things.
And while you're writing down, I will just remind anyone who's watching and Jen, like, how is that card applied to you as well? Right?
I'll be honest, I'm sitting here right now asking you two for help. So, yeah, it just seems
so good.
uh-huh.
Yes. Again, I love how group synergy works because as soon as you started talking, and I was like, yes, this is for all of us. And I kept getting like, asking you shall receive. And sometimes it's even those things that we don't know that we need to ask for. It's one thing to have people in our lives who can help with certain things, technology. Maybe there's a technology person, but sitting down and asking, just like you said with my card, like what power do you possess that you just have to ask God, what else, what power is already in me that I'm not playing out or that I'm being invited to I could utilize. What is that? So it's ask ask for help, but also ask him, what is it? What else is in me that I haven't tapped into yet? There's a lot there that feels really expansive, really expansive, saying, what God, what have you created me that built in my DNA, in my soul that I have not yet tapped into?
Mm.
And being specific with your needs is the other thing that came up. Um, like I feel like sometimes we can ask somebody for help, like, can you help me clean up the kitchen? Is different than, will you put away all of the dishes in the dishwasher and take out the garbage?
Mm.
Being super specific in your
Mm.
needs and your desires, you have a very good, you hold a very big picture, and sometimes God wants you to be very specific with what you need right now in this instant, and ask and you shall receive. Get really specific with him.
I love it. I
What
love
if
it
you,
because I I waffle a lot between, well, I know I'm capable, so I should just do it.
right?
And okay, God, like I like, where's that line between um the old victim me that asks through my entitlement and the powerful me that asks through um resource. And so I love what you're saying about the specificity, and then trusting. For me, it's a trusting that, again, because I come from that enabling entitlement kind of energy, that I don't want to be entitled anymore, so I tend to not ask. So I love the invitation into, and what's coming up at exactly what I said to Jen. Am I asking from my victim powerless energy, or am I asking from my powerful, I know my identity energy? So,
That's so funny. I was like, this brings us right back to
yep.
what we were talking with Jen, because, and that was, there was a, like, this isn't a victim thing to be specific. Yeah.
What if you don't know specifically? You know what I like? I couldn't even nail down. Like, I know I needed help, which it's super hard to ask for. And so now I feel like I'm asking for it, but I don't even know what I'm really asking for. Maybe just not to be alone in figuring this out. I don't know.
I think that's really normal sometimes to not know even what to ask for. And I would say this is where we get to be so authentically vulnerable with God, because he knows us so well, to go, okay, God, I don't even know what to ask for. Like, I
Hmm.
don't even know what specifically to ask for. And then listen, right? And then listen. What is, and it's really weird. It's one of those things that I remember one of the greatest um uh I don't know, mature things I ever did or whatever with my former husband, is he's very like, oh yeah, that's great, wonderful, and I'm like, right. And so I
Hmm.
would want him to respond the way that I would respond to him if there was good news, right?
Yes. Hmm.
And I remember at one point in time going, wait, he's just being himself, and I'm expecting him to be something different. So I got to a point where I would go, okay, babe, I'm about to tell you something really great that happened to me, and here's the exact words I want you to say, and the exact tone I want you to have, and this is your level of excitement that I need you to have. And he's like, okay. So then I would tell him, and he'd be like, babe, that's really great, right? Because that, in his mind, that was the level of excitement that I was asking for. I'm like, oh, babe, you are so awesome and you tried so hard, but I need a little bit more. And then he'd be like, babe, you're great. And I was like, yes, that's what I need. And it seems so counter intuitive or counter common sense for us to ask somebody to give us what we already know we need or want in order to have the thing that we already have, or we wouldn't have given it to them to give to us. But that's relationship, right? And so does it seem weird to go, okay, God, I don't know what to ask you for. Please tell me what I need so that I can ask you. But it's the exact same thing that I did with my former husband, right? It's exactly the same. We don't know. And again, going back to what I was saying earlier about that process is more important than the end. Oh, I wasn't saying that on here. I was saying that on a different call. Going through a process is the funness. Whereas we have a consciousness that says, it's the means justify the ends or whatever. Like, I don't really care what I'm doing as long as I get to the end result. But really, life is the beauty of both. Yes, the result is awesome, but if I'm not enjoying the journey to get the result, then the result isn't really gonna mean anything, right? And so this weird thing of going, okay, God, tell me what to ask you for. Then you hear it and then you go, okay, I'm going to ask you for what you just told me that I need to ask you for. That process of intimacy is really our heart's greatest desire. Jen, I'm about to burst some bubbles right now. We don't really give a fuck about the situation. We don't really give a fuck about our job. What we really desire is to be in union in love. Because if we have that, and I think that goes back to maybe just asking that I'm not alone. Okay, well, guess what? Here's this process that leads to intimacy that then is the thing that provides the not alone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool.
No, it really is. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
So good. Jen, thank you for coming and playing with us today. You're amazing.
Yes.
You two gave me honestly exactly what I needed. You have no idea how much this means to me. So thank you so much, you two. You're gonna get me through the weekend. I am really gonna, I think the listening is the hard part for me too, is I need to be patient, ask and listen, you know? So thank you guys. This was so amazing. I appreciate you giving me this time because it's filled me. So thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Okay, I love you ladies. Take care and have a good weekend.
Okay.
Thank
you,
you.
Jen.
Bye.
Bye.
And if there is anybody on this call that's watching right now that you're like, hey, I want some of that. I need some of that kind of encouragement. I want, like, yes, please. We're going to leave a link in the description that is our calendar link. Please schedule. This is a gift from us to you. We would love to be able to bless you. You bless us just as much as we bless you. That's the law of reciprocity. So please come join us and we will see you soon.
Thank you.